me just start the recording because like I'll just upload this part. Um, First impressions of the patch changes. Now the quality of life and stuff like that, and the teleports that I've like from what I've seen so far, these are good changes. I haven't experienced it yet. Okay, what I have experienced so far, realistically, is just like the combat. And in my opinion, I'm playing on. I don't know if you can see this here, like the difficulty. I don't know how to show it. If you can show it. I don't know if. Yeah, there you go. New game minus, Path of the Unsprung. So I'm playing on like the harder difficulty, right? And now I died a couple times because like I just had to remember the keys and like how much your stamina actually drains and stuff. But it's like once you adjust, like to how many shots you can do, like how many range shots you can do and stuff like that. Honestly, I think, and again, I love playing range. Don't get me wrong, I love playing range in ARPGs. I love playing melee as well, but melee here is like really. I don't know. I don't want every fight to feel too methodical, kind of thing. You know, like if you do certain activities, some like every encounter you have against one or two enemies is like super focused. Like you have to like always fucking try. I like the fighting style more like in Elden Ring, where it's like you have the mobs where you really need to like, dodge around them and stuff like that, play around them and stuff like that. But then you have the trash mobs where it's like you can just auto attack them. You don't have to like try too hard. You can just like auto spam them and like you'll be fine. I like that mix where you have like the mobs. It's like you can just like auto spam on them. And then you have the mobs where you actually have to like pay attention, right? And being able to outlevel them to the point where like the mobs you had to dodge around become like the quality of a trash pack, right? But either way, like the whole point is that like not every mob, in my opinion, should be a fucking challenge, right? Having like, let's say, I don't know, maybe like one important mob in like maybe like 3 or 4 garbage mobs. I think that would be like the most ideal, where it's like you really just play around this one mob while like thinning the trash mobs. The trash ones are not really a threat. They don't do a lot of damage. They barely do damage, but you can build your stamina, not stamina, but like the charge for your spells, right? This orange bar, you can build the charge off of those mobs, or like they're still kind of a threat, right? So it's like, or like you have like something like, I have an item that I just got, right? Damage increased by % after you dodge an attack, so you can use them to like trigger these things. Increase movement speed after a kill, right? If this could stack, would be great, right? So you could just like kill a group of like 10 mobs, like 5 mobs, 10 mobs, not 10, 5 mobs, right? And you get like for like 100 seconds minus whatever time you spent since the first time you killed, right? Like shit like that. I think like those are like a lot more fun, interactive type of aspects for the character. What I think right now, though, I think the ranged, because of the AI, the ranged is kind of busted. Now, the damage is kind of shitty, sure, but I also don't have any effects. If I use this, I freeze monsters really fast overall. And I can build Cold Sling pretty fast, which is pretty much a 100% freeze when you use it. Right, so most mobs, and again, you have like the huge mobs that have bigger range, sure, but most mobs, it's kind of too easy. As long as you know your stamina, it is slow, by the way. It is really slow to kill this way, right? Something that would take me like 1 or 2 hits with like a great sword, a claymore, for example, takes me like 8 hits on a bow. But I can be super fucking safe. It is like super safe to play bow, right? It is super safe to play wand. I'm assuming it's super safe to play a staff too. right? I think I had the fire staff, and the fire staff, like the charging was a bit long, but like the ice dart is pretty fast. The bow is pretty fast. It's like even if like the enemy has like the bomb that they throw, you can kind of like shoot and dodge. You can make it, right? It's very close, but like you can make it. And just trivialize a lot of like the melee mobs, right? Maybe it doesn't trivialize a lot of the ranged mobs, though technically kind of does. But because of like how fast you can recharge your stamina, as long as you pay attention to it, you can just like, you know, walk back. They do their attack, roll back, and because they start their attack, you know they're not gonna reach you if you roll back anymore. You have time to do like 2 or 3 shots, and then you just walk around again. Alright, so I don't know, I feel like in somewhat open areas, ranged makes it way too easy. Most bosses have a shit ton of room to play around with, making it really easy. And the most obvious attack of all the bosses, as far as I remember, is their gap closer attack, where they just jump. They literally jump, and then they jump towards you, and they slam, and maybe they do one more attack. Each boss has like a slight variation, but like for the most part, right? The way I beat like the, you know, you fight that boss on the bridge, and then he runs away, and then you meet him in the sewers. I literally beat that boss before this patch. I beat it by just bringing a lot of throwables. Where are they? A bunch of these guys, but like the 90 damage ones. I just brought a bunch of those, and I would just stay at a distance and just throw it at him. On my first playthrough, right? Just like, he can't do anything. He jumps, you roll, walk to the other side as you're throwing them. He can't do anything. Right? I love range, but I don't think this game can balance ranged for the most part. It just makes the game too easy. Especially, like, unless the scaling is going to be, like, so atrocious, then it's like, why even use range? Right? Then you could use range as, like, you know, like, a status type thing. Right? Put somebody on fire and then hit them, put somebody on ice, somebody on lightning, whatever. Then maybe I can see range having a, like, you know, having a place. But right now, the way it is, if the scaling is as it was before the patch, my bow is gonna fucking massacre everything. Yeah, it's not gonna be as big as, like, my hammer or whatever, right? It's not gonna do as much damage. But if I can play super safe, listen, like, I do a lot more damage as somebody who stays alive than if I were to hit a few times and die. Okay, like, like that's how it works. Yeah, it's gonna take longer, and it's like, oh, just get good and you can hit them better. Yeah, but it's like, why? Like, why would I wanna get really good at like the game with dodging and parrying and all that stuff when I can just, like, you know, play range? Yeah. That being said, I think... So it's like, for me, I think range is not great for the game. However, I can see the argument that ranged will make it more accessible for a wider audience, because this is like easy mode. This is like, why are you playing Elden Ring with, you know, with like 2 one-handed swords when you can just play with magic, right? Like, why are you playing Elden Ring without magic? Like, magic just makes this so accessible. Why are you fighting a boss without the summon? The summon makes it so accessible. So you can view it, that argument, where it's like, it's fine to make the game easier by throwing stuff like that. But I still feel like at least the AI for bosses would need some type of rework or additions to it when somebody is at range. It is fine to play at range against bosses if you actually actively have to, like, dodge a mechanic or two between shots. Otherwise, once the boss jumps at you, you got a lot of free time. You got a lot of free time to shoot at him, right? There's no, like, dodge, like, you know, throw a shot, dodge again, kind of like, there's no mechanics like that, right? Whereas, like, if you play melee, you kind of have those, right? It's like some bosses have, like, a 1-2, pause into a big 3, right? And then it's like, well, you dodge the 1-2, you hit it, maybe you even hit it twice, then you dodge the third attack, and then you can do like a full charged slam, right? So you have like these types of games. You and Marone still playing Warframe? Yeah, of course I'm playing Warframe, bro. Yeah, so you know, you have those mechanics in Melee where it's like you play around the boss and stuff, but you don't really have them for ranged, in my opinion, making the AI kind of just like too stupid. Yeah, these are my thoughts about the new changes. I like the game. I think it's great. I do want to wait for full release. I think the game is lacking a lot of things still, which, you know, if you want to know what those are, watch my previous review. But yeah, I think the game is great. I think it's in a good place, but it's still early access. A lot of things are bound to change. This is just my opinion on the range changes. See ya.